Hi, I'm so glad that you're here. So in today's video, I have for you my top $5 store DIYs. The reason that I say these are my top 5 is because I have literally weaned through a whole selection of DIYs, experimenting, and all kinds of stuff in this garage. You don't even want to see the other side. And basically what I have found is that number one, dollar store doesn't always equal cheap. And number two, they're not always as sturdy as you would like them to be. I would assume, if you're gonna spend money on something, you want it to last, right? So I weaned through everything and I picked out my top 5 DIYs that I wanted to share with you guys. They're easy, affordable, and they work. So we have a lot to get into today. If you like dollar store DIYs as well as some furniture makeovers, be sure to subscribe on this channel. That's a little box in the corner of the screen. And with all this said, let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to need for this DIY is some peel and stick wallpaper. Now your pattern is completely optional, whichever you prefer for your decor. We're going to need a picture frame, the bigger the better, and some hefty duty glue. So if you like to use the hot glue or Gorilla Glue, whichever one that you feel comfortable using, grab it. Now these small furniture knobs are optional. I like using them because they add some interest to the bottom of the tray. And we're going to also need some furniture pulls for the handles of our tray. So whatever you have lying around, we can make it work. I'm going to start by removing the back of the picture frame, and we're going to use that backing to place our peel and stick wallpaper over. I found it more helpful to lay the peel and stick wallpaper sticky side up and then place the backing on it that way. After it's on, make sure to smooth out all the air bubbles, and we're going to put it in our picture frame. To hide the picture frame backing, I cut out one more piece of the peel and stick wallpaper to size and laid it on the back. Here I'm painting my small furniture knobs in Waverly black chalk paint. Now if you don't have these, again, don't worry about it. You'll still come out with a great picture frame tray. These just add some interest, and I like the character of them. If you are decided on using some of these small knobs, after they are completely dry, we're going to put our glue at the very ends of them, wait for it to get a bit tacky, and then place them in each corner of our picture frame. Once the glue is completely dry, then we can move on to the handles. For those of you that noticed, yes, I did switch to different handles. The ones that I had were just a bit too big for the frame. So these ones, I am flipping the handle over, putting the glue at the bottom, and I'm going to line it up and place them down. For this DIY, you'll need to pick out a big plate, small plate, and a bowl, and also 3 candlestick holders. We're also going to be using glue with this one, so whichever glue that you like to work with, grab it and let's go. Because we're working with glue, it's really helpful to wipe down everything with some rubbing alcohol before we get started. We're going to start off by putting our glue at the narrow end of the candle holder and placing it in the middle of the big plate. This part is optional, but I couldn't resist. I had to put something in that opening spout. So I used some dollar store pearls, but if you wanted to use some gems, I think that would look nice too. Whatever you decide, now we're placing our glue on the bigger end of the candle holder and placing it on top. Setting the bigger plate aside to dry, let's do the exact same thing on the small plate. So I'm putting the glue on the smaller end of the candle holder and placing it in the middle of the plate. Now we'll add the bowl to the top, but before you add any of the pieces together, you have to make sure that it's dry, else it's going to move around. So I'm putting the glue on the bigger end of the candle holder, and we'll put the bowl on the top. And again, waiting for everything to dry before we add our last piece together. So putting the glue on this tiny end, and then putting our last piece on top. For this DIY, I'm using 6 of these wooden boxes. I'm going to be painting them in black Waverly chalk paint, and I'm using some wood glue, and you'll see why a little later. So before painting the boxes, I start off by removing all of the tags and then going in with that black Waverly chalk paint. So if you prefer to use a stain versus a paint, that is perfectly fine. You choose whatever matches your decor. So I'm going to be painting the outside as well as the inside, and that's for all 6 boxes. Once these are all dry, we're going to move them to the side for a little bit and work on the side pieces for the shelf. You're going to need 2 identical pieces of wood. The length just depends on you and how many boxes you want in your shelf. For those of you who are curious, I did get these at Lowe's in the pre-cut section in the back. I'm staining these in a little dark cherry. I've been really wanting to dip into this stain for a while, so I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to see how it turned out. Whatever stain or paint that you would like to use for your project, go right ahead. I want it somewhat on the light side, so I'm only going to be applying 1 coat of this stain. Now it's time to put it all together. After I get done spacing out all of my shelves, I'm a visual measurer. I don't normally do things by the measuring tape, so it might be a little off here and there, but for the most part, it's accurate. I'm using a pencil to mark on the top of the box on where they all measured out. So when I move them around, in case I lose track, I have that little mark from the pencil. Now it's time to glue it all down. So I'm putting everything on its side, and using the pencil lines as my reference, I'm placing the boxes at a diagonal. I'll use a dab of glue at the top of each box. After one side is done drying, just repeat it on the other side and you're done. For this table DIY, I'm starting off with 2 of the mesh waste paper baskets, as well as some Gorilla Glue. We're going to flip the first one over and put the glue at the narrow end of the basket, and then we're going to bring the other basket in and set it on top. So it creates a shape of an hourglass. So that's the look that we're going for. After the two pieces have dried together, we're taking our dollar store seashells and placing them inside the basket. So you can make the arrangement however you'd like, and that's going to be like the visual decor of the basket. Next, I'm taking two of the dollar store pizza trays and spray painting them in some white Behr chalk paint. While those are drying, let's work on the rope part of our basket. The reason why I like this Gorilla Glue for this DIY is because I can lay all the glue on there at once and it'll still stay tacky long enough for me to get the glue on all around the basket in a couple layers and then wrap the rope around. I only needed one package of our nautical jute rope from the dollar store for the middle part here. You can do whatever kind of look that you want for the top. I'm going to create this nautical sandwich. So I'm taking my glue and putting it around the rim, and then I'm going to line that rim in nautical rope. And then I'll take the top part and sandwich it together. I decided to balance it out just a little bit and put another row of nautical rope on the top tray. And then we'll just put the glue around the rim and put the top on. Okay, so for this last DIY, we're going to need a laundry basket, rope of choice. I'm going to do two types of rope today, and some fabric. You need the fabric big enough to cover the inside of the laundry basket. So this one is actually a shower curtain from Goodwill. So I'm measuring everything out, and then I'm going to snip off the extra edges. And using some glue around the rim of the laundry basket, I'll then put the fabric back in and give it a tuck underneath that lip. So I'm just kind of folding and tucking to make sure it looks nice, but as well as it's getting up in that glue. Once it's dry, it's time to start laying on the rope. So just like I did with the nautical table, I'm going to pre-layer with the Gorilla Glue and then wrap the rope around. It can get kind of stuck in some areas, so just make sure to go back and check as you're wrapping to press everything down so there's no gaps. I used a total of 5 packs of the nautical rope from the dollar store, and now I'm going in with the jute. So I unraveled 4 packages of the jute, and that will be enough to cover up the last little bit. These DIYs were so much fun. If you're gonna try any of them, let me know. Give me a comment down below, and if you need any help along the way, just put it in that comments box and I'll be sure to help you. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, because next week we're going to be doing a furniture makeover that I'm really excited to share with you guys. Other than that, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys.